Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Strange Days True Crime, where we look at stories of solved and unsolved murders and disappearances. If you have a case you'd like me to cover, please email me at strangedays0000@outlook.com or leave me a comment and follow me on my Facebook page for more true crime. Don't forget to like and subscribe for new videos. Thanks and enjoy. Before I get into the video, I'd like to warn viewers that there are some photos in this video that some may find disturbing. The St. Louis Little Jane Doe. On February 28th of 1983, in St. Louis, Missouri, two men were looking for scrap metal to fix their car, which had broke down just outside of an abandoned apartment building at 5635 Clemens Avenue. The two men would enter the abandoned apartment building and begin their search, which turned up nothing of any use for them. It was at this point that the pair decided to head to the dark basement as a last resort in finding something that may help them. Upon entering the pitch-black basement, one of the men dug into his pocket and pulled out a lighter. After the lighter had illuminated the darkness, they discovered a grisly scene. Laying on the dirty floor was a body. The two hurried out of the basement and contacted police. The call came into the police sometime in the mid-morning. Once the police were on scene, they took lights down to the basement where they too found the body. On first sight, the investigators saw the body of a female victim. The victim was lying on her stomach and naked from the waist down, wearing only a long-sleeve yellow V-neck sweater, with her hands tied behind her back with white and red nylon rope. On the initial look at the body, police believed that the body was that of a prostitute, until they turned the body over, only to discover that it was the body of a young girl. And not only that, she had been decapitated. When the autopsy was completed, it was stated that the young girl was African American between the ages of 8 and 11, around 4 foot 10 inches and 5 foot 4 inches tall, weighing around 58 pounds. The victim had been sexually assaulted before her death, and her head had been severed cleanly by what was thought to be a butcher knife or a large blade, but it was believed that she had been strangled first, and she had an empty stomach when she died. It was believed that the little girl had died around 4 or 5 days prior to being found. It was also noted that the little girl had 2 coats of red nail polish on. There were no other special marks on the body other than some characteristics of spina bifida. DNA, fingerprints, and footprints were also taken to help identify the girl. The little girl was dubbed the Little Jane Doe, Precious Hope, or Hope. Investigators stated that where the body was found was just a dump site, and that she had been killed in a different location. When investigators were first on scene, they scoured the area looking for Little Jane Doe's head, but turned up empty-handed. The case was turning up no new leads as investigators searched for any missing children in the area that fit the description, and went to the schools looking for children who were absent from school. But this too was a dead end for the investigators. In December of 1983, Little Jane Doe was laid to rest without knowing her name at the Washington Park Cemetery, and the case would go cold. Investigators would even go as far as to send the bloody sweater Little Jane Doe was wearing at the time of her death to a psychic in Florida, who stated they wanted to touch the sweater in order to see what information they could come up with. The sweater was never returned to investigators, and the psychic had said that it was lost in the mail. In 2005, police even went as far to talk to convicted murderer Vernon Brown. Vernon was a suspected serial killer and child molester who was active from 1980 to 1986 when he was finally arrested. He had a similar way of raping and murdering his victims and had strangled other young girls to death. Vernon, however, would not speak to the detectives during this interview and was later executed by lethal injection on May 17th of 2005. 2 more murders were linked to Vernon, and he was the suspect in at least 20 more murders. In 2009, investigators decided to exhume little Jane Doe's body. However, this turned out to be more difficult, as the cemetery did not keep records and had not been well maintained, which led to her remains being displaced. It would be in 2013 that they would finally find where she had been buried, thanks to a photo that had been taken on the day she was buried that would help in locating where little Jane Doe had been laid to rest. Once she was located, investigators did isotope testing to try and determine where she may have lived prior to her death. The test revealed that little Jane Doe was most likely in the southeastern parts of the USA. Once the test was completed on February 8th of 2014, little Jane Doe was buried in a special section of the Calvary Cemetery, which was specially reserved for Doe burials. Her grave would be marked with the name Hope. A St. Louis cold case unit was formed in 2019, where they have a room that is specially dedicated to little Jane Doe. In June of 2023, investigators believed that they may have had a break in the case when a girl made a post on Reddit searching for her sister, whom some believe may be little Jane Doe. Investigators were asking for the Reddit user to contact them in regards to the case, but there has been no new updates on the case so far. It has been 40 years since the passing of little Jane Doe. If you have any information on this case, please contact Detective Daniel Sweeney from the Metropolitan Police Department at 314-444-5371, extension 5826, case number 83-29584. Please share and help give little Jane Doe her name back and help catch her killer. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos of these strange days we live in.